friends. We are back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandron.
What's good? It is your girl, Dehjai. Hey now.
And if you've never been here before, welcome. We
Welcome,
talk
welcome.
about pop culture, real life, and the intersection between the two. So today, well, for this month, we're talking like all things love, amor.
Love and
And
relationship.
so,
Well, I got
yeah,
love. We just ain't got no relationship. So, husband, hey boo, if you out there, I need.
yes. So we thought it would be cool to start off, especially because we're two friends doing this with a Galentines sort of episode. So it's going to be kind of a getting to know you, kind of a Galentines sort of moment. Deja has more details. Go.
So, before we even get into
Oh,
that, first, let's talk about my Snuffleupagus eyelashes.
mm.
No, just kidding. But so, yes, what are we drinking?
Doing Old Faithful, 19 Crimes, Cali Red.
Oh, so we have similar.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've always seemed to have the bottle near me. Here she is. And this one is the dark red 2020 blend.
Ooh,
This is really fucking good.
okay. Could be on the lookout for that one.
19 Crimes, sponsor us.
Yes. Yes. All right. So,
Snuffleupagus realness.
yes.
So into the conversation for the day. So as Candace said, we're going to do a little Galentine's cuteness. And I found these 11 little questions that we're going to kind of run through to kind of play like a get to know you, but like, let me get in your business, sis.
Yeah.
So you want to start, or would you like me to start?
I will start. I'm going to try to stay away from some of the deeper ones because we've already gone very deep. So I want to keep this really light on my end. You're feel free to ask whatever you want to do, but I want to ask them light shit. Okay. What books have you read that, well, first of all, this is a 45 questions from Psych Central.
Yeah.
So we'll link the questions down below.
Play with your friends. I was like, yeah, you should play with your friends. You know what? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Before you ask the question, y'all, they just all over the place. I'm sorry. This idea came to me from, there's a restaurant, well, that used to be a restaurant that's here in the city called Extras. And when you would go and dine with anybody, there's these little shot glasses or like small, like tapas cups. And they have like all these questions in it. And so like a couple of times that I have taken friends or family who've never been to the restaurant, we would start to pull these little question starters, and it was always a good time. So that's, I was like, oh yeah, we should definitely do this. I'm probably going to print this out at some point and use it as like a game to do with friends. Now back to the actual asking of the questions.
Okay, I love that. What books have you read that have had a big influence on your life?
So the trash in me in high school was reading Fly Girl by Omar Kyrie.
African American classics.
What is his name? Not Eric Benet. That's the damn singer. What's the other one? Eric Jerome Dickey books.
Eric Jerome.
I read
Dickey,
Lovers and Friends.
The Girls, the Terry Woods. I used to read that child. Who else? Girl, I read all of the girls.
And so here's the thing. I was not doing any of the things that they was talking about in none of the books. Well, the other books were about adults, but Fly Girl was about a girl that was like my age, okay?
Yes.
At the time. And so like, I was just very intrigued. I think this is why I say on the inside, as a youth, I was probably a little bit of a bird. Because like, remember we had years, so, oh wait, that's not on this here podcast, but years ago, we had this like kind of questionnaire thing, and Kandron had asked me, what have you, like when you were little, what is the strangest thing that you wanted to be, or something like that, or who did you relate to? Yeah. And so I told y'all, well, them, the old crew, I told them that when I was little, I wanted to be a stripper because I thought that, like they were so beautiful and they were dancing around and they were on stage. And so for me, I equated like the being on stage and being beautiful to like singing and being like, a singer. I didn't realize that they were strippers. But like, I wanted to be a stripper. I used to be like, oh, I want to do that when I grow up.
Like,
girl.
Do you? I mean, no shame, because the girls be getting
make
it.
money.
They be
Don't
getting it.
misunderstand. Yes.
And
But the way my back is set up,
definitely skill. It's a definite skill.
right? Like the way my back is set up, and baby, these knees.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Those days have gone. I love that answer. I actually I remember it was like a couple years ago I read it was either a podcast or I read an article about this woman, I think she was Afro-Latina, that opened up her own bookstore in New York, and she had a section that she kind of developed for like these African American classics, because a lot of times the classics are associated with like Huck Finn, and it's like, girl, we was not interested. We did not, that was not our coming to age story. Okay. That was not it.
It wasn't giving Zane addicted.
Okay. That was one part of our coming to age, but like you said, it was the Fly Girl. It was those books that like really shaped us as
the coldest winter ever.
The coldest winter ever, of course. Top tier. Like I said, I read all of that stuff. Like I had a aunt, or my godmother, really. She had all the books, and my mom had some too. So it was like, it was crazy because I was hardly reading the books they gave me in school, but I was like every weekend I was flying through one of those books. And so yes, I highly agree with you. The African American tome of coming of age / early 20s, Black girls doing ordinary Black girl stuff in the extraordinary Black girl way. I love it.
Okay, I'm just trying to tell you, like I lived in an Eric Jerome Dickey book. Yes. I have so many.
And who was the one? Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name now, but I remember the character in the book was named Basil. It was a gay author. He just died a few years ago. Gosh, I can't remember his name.
I'm like, I haven't read all, but I feel like I remember that, but I don't know what book that is.
I read all of his books, like all. I'm sure I still have a few laying around. I'm gonna try to figure it out. Wow, that took me back and made me forget my answer. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I'm sorry, because like I literally I do read books now, guys. I'm not, but it just made me remember like how invested in books I was as a youth. And like I don't really read the way I did then. And I'm like, Kandron will send me books all the time. Actually, she posted on our website a book list, and so I'm gonna try to go and get some of the things that are on there, because she's been telling me about some of the books and said it was good, but I have not read it. I'm terrible for, I think graduate school really did this to me, because for sure. Like I just don't be wanting to read no books. I have so many books that I have started and not finished. It's dumb. And it wasn't because it wasn't good. I just kind of put it down and then forgot about it.
Definitely. Like for me, law school, like I didn't read anything for pleasure for a solid 5 years after I graduated. It might have been closer to 7. Like I just started really reading with some sort of intention of late. So speaking of intention, I actually pulled up our article or my blog post. So I posted a 2021 book list that's what I read last year, and then I posted a 2022 reading list. So this is what I'm reading this year. Read along with me. Let me know what you're reading in the comments. But the book that I read last year, What I Know for Sure by Oprah, was like game changing for me. It was just so excellent. All about setting your intentions. And I appreciated it because it was written in like snippets. So it was written like it wasn't like chapters. It was just kind of like stories, but not really story. It was just like lessons. And some of it was like 4 or 5 pages. Some of it was like half a page. And it was just like all of these lessons. So I feel like that's something I should read every year. But it was like, in terms of thinking about being intentional and setting up my life, I absolutely love that book and highly recommend it. But I love your answer better.
I mean, the last thing that I really, really read, we talked about it on here, which was the therapy book. It's actually sitting up here. I'm going to throw this on the list. This is what I read. Like, I thoroughly read that. I have all these little tabs and things in here because I took notes. And she's now released a like companion journal to help you kind of go through each of these sections, because this book is also written kind of how Kandron was describing the Oprah book, in terms of it being in sections, and then it's broken down and there's little like bullet points, there's like quizzes and stuff in here, but I'm sure that with the work journal, the workbook, you'll get more of that. So, but yeah.
Elin Harris is who I was thinking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I read like everything. I was obsessed with that story because it was like Basil was a queer character, and I feel like he was bisexual. I can't really remember because it's been some time.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, I read it voraciously. So it was like stuff like that I was reading. I love your answer.
Girl, we finna go back in time and read some books over, because I
wouldn't mind doing that. That would be fun, actually.
Let's do it. Would you all who actually watch, would you be down? Like, would you want to like do it with us and have like a little Black girl Kiki? That would be cute.
Yeah, a little Black girl nostalgic reading book club. I would love that.
Hello. Because old.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a cute one. Piggybacking on books. Growing up, what was your favorite children's story or fairy tale?
I don't have any answer for that.
Off top.
What's yours? Do yours. So, let me think on mine.
My littlest version of me loved all the Clifford the Big Red Dog books. I had every last one of them. And my mom still has all of my Dr. Seuss books, even though Dr. Seuss is fucking problematic these days. I still love Dr. Seuss. And then probably, I guess I was probably still in this age group, the book about the two sisters, Nairobi and Nyasha. What the fuck is that book called? Oh my God.
I don't know that one.
Girl, you know this book because they read it every fucking Black History Month if they had Black children in the class, especially here in Virginia. It was like, I mean, I'm just saying, I remember this vividly. But I loved the book, and I cannot think. It's about two sisters, but I don't remember the name of it right now. We can put some of the names of the books in the drop down, so that way you can select them. And then for our friends who are parents out there, you definitely should get the book that I'm talking about. I have got to find the name. It is like, once you get it, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is a classic, because every teacher read it. So
okay. I was like I don't know why, but I was like a Berenstain Bear fiend when I was a little. Oh my! I had so many Berenstain Bear books, so many, and then I had like the movies too, like the VHS. I was obsessed, and I don't know why, but it was like I skipped the whole Dr. Seuss. So backstory: I was in a really bad car accident when I was a precious little youth around. I think it was.
That's not funny. I'm just hearing you say.
No, it was fun. I know. I said it for comedic effect because I don't want anybody to be like, oh.
I'm like, damn, that seems like I'm laughing at her being an accident.
No. It was like, I think I was 4 because I think I was going into the first grade, or maybe I was 5 going to 6. Anyways, so I was in a bad car accident, so I was in the hospital for about a month, and I was also in like a body cast for like a month, so I couldn't really go anywhere. It was over a whole entire summer that I was basically like housebound and hospital bound. So I learned how to read really, really well and really, really fast. Like, so I kind of skipped over Dr. Seuss and like went straight to Berenstain Bears, which was a little more advanced for probably my age. And it was funny because it was like the nurses, they didn't believe me. They thought I was like, they were kind of jackasses about it. They were like, oh, you memorized that. I was like, no, I can read it. So I like read that. And even as I got older, like what? It's like, what are you talking about? So they started giving me like big, more advanced books for my age or whatever. And then even as I got older, I started reading, I don't know why I was reading this, but I started reading like Toni Morris in like the 4th grade. And they were like asking me why I was checking that out and telling me like I was above my reading level. And I was like, I know how to read. Like I can read it. So
girl,
I like skipped over a lot of stuff and like skipped right to like I was reading crazy stuff I shouldn't have been reading. I was still reading because who needs to read Toni Morrison in the 4th grade. I don't know. Like,
girl, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and act like, because I was like you, I read very quickly. I didn't read at an early age. I just read very quickly and well, like always well above my grade level. And so my mom she just always had books everywhere. So I would be reading all types of things that I probably should not have been reading. I remember I was in probably like the 2nd grade. She had like these encyclopedias. And so, and medical books. And so I was reading about like body parts.
I was that kind of voracious reader too. Like I would read an encyclopedia if that's what was there. I would just read. I just love to read.
So, like, full disclosure, Dehjai is a bit of an odd bear. When she was young, I thought about being a medical examiner because I used to watch Autopsy, and I was like 7, 8, and I was so interested. Like I would be just watching it all the time. And my mom was so freaked out because she's like, "This is so gross. Why are you watching this?" And I'm like, "It's cool, Mom."
Yeah.
Because of watching that show and the medical terminology, I went to the encyclopedias and then to my mom's medical books. She was like a lab tech or something at one point before we moved here. And so she had all these books from her, the time in getting her degrees in that. But child, like, why are you sitting here reading these? But I knew how to research something before they started teaching us to research stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, oh, I can figure this out. Maybe it'll be in one of these books. But yeah.
All right. So I'm going on. If you could travel back in time, what year would you visit? I already know mine.
I mean, am I traveling back as an adult?
You can read it however you want. I mean, you can go back to before you were an adult if you want to. I don't really care. Or before you were even born if you want to.
So if I could travel back as the me I am today, I don't know what year that was. I guess it would have to been 85. I would travel back to 85 so I can stomp the dog shit out of my babysitter. Yes, I would, because that lady slapped the hell out of me, and that is a memory that I still have. She slapped me so hard my nose started bleeding to the point that it would not stop. So I proceeded to do one of these numbers so that my mom could know that something happened, and then my mom promptly beat that lady's ass because I was crying when she got there. Yes,
I'm so glad she did that.
But I would want to be there with my mom to kick her ass. Okay, you don't be slapping 2-year-olds in the face like she's a bitch that stole your shit. That is not okay.
Not okay.
I would also go back to, I don't know, 92 or 93. And I have a lot of violence in me today. I would cuss out my best friend Chantel's mother. Cuss her up, down, left, and center. Okay. Because this lady, you got to be an awful person to tell us, a small child. I had to be like no more than 7 or 8, that I couldn't go into the room with my friend because she was watching me over the summer to help my mom out. So I get there at like 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever the case. And of course, my little friend is still asleep. So she wouldn't let me go in the room and lay down with her. She wouldn't let me sit on her couch. She wouldn't let me do any of the stuff. It's early in the morning. So then I ended up sitting on the floor watching cartoons because I couldn't sit on her couch. And I fell asleep.
How can you sleep on the couch?
I don't know. But I fell asleep on the floor with my one of my dolls or something like that. And I used the doll and my little teeny jacket as a blanket because I was freezing sitting on the floor in her apartment. Right. So to Chantel, Mama, I don't remember your name, sis. But yeah, I would cuss you out. I might even put my hands on you because that is child abuse, child neglect. Like, what the hell? You could have gave me a damn pillow, bitch.
That it is. Okay.
I don't know why.
Oof. You look like you was,
and then after I said all that, like,
fight.
Girl, if you watch this back, I literally just was like,
oh my God. Okay.
That went.
I'm gonna take a sharp right. I'm gonna go back to 2007, but a specific point in 2007, the top half of the year before I went to law school. So like till about June. January through June of 2007 is what I thought adulthood was and was going to be. And I had the time of my life. I had a little gig that was paying me very well for 2007 standards. I could afford what I want. I was saving my money. I met the first little,
little piece of work.
Little situation that had my head spinning, little first love or whatever. And yes, that's late. I know that that's late. I was a late bloomer. I was okay with that though, because that was a choice.
That don't mean that.
It was a choice. It was a choice. I mean, I had dated before that, but that was like my first.
Yes, because we had to be able-bodied and out here living and adulting to me to really be like, this was my first love, or that was my love experience. Because that's stuff when you're young. I don't really think that shit really matters. It don't count.
Yeah, and I was like at the club every weekend. I was stumbling into work after being out at the club till 5 a.m. It was just a good time. Like I just had a good time, and I met some of my like best friends during that time frame. It was just I just had a good time.
Listen,
so 2007 is where I feel like I lived some of my best time. Not all of it, but that would go back to that time.
You over here having highlights. I'm over here thinking about repressed trauma.
I'm thinking about kicking ass. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't think it was going there, but go ahead. What's your next question?
Woo, that was funny to me. Okay. Who's had the biggest influence on you?
Oh gosh, I don't know the answer to that. You go first. I'm not sure I know.
Biggest influence.
I mean, the only thing coming to mind is like stereotypical, my mom, my family, like that sort of thing.
I mean, in that vein, I would say my aunt, who's no longer here, of course. Yeah. We've talked about that before. But I would maybe say my aunt because she was so different.
Mm-hmm.
And she was pushing me to like leave and get out of this place.
Yeah.
Go and do and be different, because I was the one that was like, oh, I'm gonna go to school and I want to do this and I want to do that. And she really wanted, one of the things that I need to do is to go to the West Coast and travel down the coast, because that's something that she really, really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I guess I could, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna stick with my original answers, like my mom. Just because my mom was the different one in my family. And I know that it wasn't always easy, but from what she made it look like, the differences were okay. So I come from like most of my family has very long-term marriages. And so my mom was kind of the only one in my family to get divorced. But she just made being single like look fun. Like we had fun. We didn't go without. It wasn't like we were struggling or whatever. We still had fun. My mom was strict, but she just made it seem like whatever you choose and like however you choose to live is okay, and that you should choose yourself over some foolishness. And I highly agree with that. Yeah. And then I would say a second being my godmother, who kind of lived the same way. And she's just like, even though she's been through a lot, she just is still like so fun and so lighthearted and funny and hilarious, and like still wants to like buy you shots and like take shots with you. And like she opens her house, like we had our brunch at her house, even though she's not in town or whatever. She's just like, come over, like I don't care, like use my stuff, I want you guys to enjoy it. So she's just like, they just made it seem like it was okay if things weren't exactly it wasn't exactly how everybody else had it, you know what I'm saying? Like they just seemed like they were okay, and they carried on in style. And I like
hello I think, and I try to steer very clear of like talking too deeply about my family, because you Kandron know my people are notoriously very private and very mean.
Yeah. Well,
So like I don't want
to
to say too much and then my mom be mad as hell. So
yeah, that's fair.
The thing that was my mom, like I feel like knowing her, damn, I want to say this, but it is all right, Ma, if you see this, I am saying good things, so do not be mad.
And Miss Dehjai's mom, if she doesn't say the right thing, you know your homegirl's gonna clean it up. Go.
So,
of course, I know your mom's name. I'm saying
yeah,
this
no, we
that
can,
way
yeah.
for a reason.
I know. Knowing her story and what she came through, like from childhood to like being, you know, an early mom, to then having to figure it out. And like, you know, my people are, we are not getting emotional today, girl. No, we're not.
Boy.
My people are like, you know, working class. And so they, you know, my father is illiterate, which we talked about, which is okay. But my mom has like a high school degree, that's it, or high school, you know, diploma.
Yeah.
And she was able to figure it out. Like I think I put it on my Instagram a couple of days ago, where it's an older woman who's talking about what mothers are and what mothers do. And to that end, because she said a lot of stuff like praying over the house, they are teachers and hairdressers and dentists and doctors and all these things and with no degrees and none of them. So like to that end, I appreciate everything that my mother has done and been able to do with like nickels. You know, like, and that is in a lot. There's been a lot of things that have happened that my mom had to be the captain of the ship, which is why I am the way I am. Like I'm very much my mother, much as I hate to admit it. But like that, like the stuff that she has literally everybody asking you what to do and you're the captain of the ship, like that's exhausting.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that has impacted me. Definitely.
I think that's kind.
Yeah, but we talking about my mama.
Yeah, that was kind. Okay, so maybe we'll do this as the last question.
Yeah, we talked a lot.
We talked a lot. We talked about books a lot more than anything else. What's a strange habit that you have?
Ooh, you go first.
Oh, my strange habit is just like randomly breaking out into song and dance. I think that's probably like a weird thing I do that like once we're really close, you won't see it for a while, but like once we're really close, you'll notice that like I just break out into song. Like if I'm eating something, I'll be like
facts. But we all do that. That's the Black people humming is good.
like, or I'll just be like walking around the house and like I'll just randomly break out into dance. I don't know why I do it. It's just I don't know. It just brings me joy. Like even if things are not okay, I know that, and it's probably like the only child in me too, because it's like if you don't dance with yourself and you don't break out into dance by yourself, you ain't never gonna dance, girl. So
okay, only child syndrome, and hence, hello, I agreed. I'm only child. My mother's child don't count.
Okay, well let's clean that up a bit and say that your sibling is a lot older than you, so you guys don't have you weren't going through the same life stages at the same time. Is that fair?
She don't count, like I said. Strange thing that I do. I don't know. Like, because I think I'm just weird in general. So it's like, girl, what else we gonna do?
I am also a very strange bird.
Oh, well, I mean, this might be gross. Well, no, I'm not gonna tell that. So I am a tactile person, which is funny. Yes. Talking about my mother, she is too. So like when I sit down and I get settled somewhere, I'm rubbing my feet against something for the friction, or I'm like, you see me doing it, I have my hands like I'm rubbing something in my hands. And it's so funny. I'm like, my mom pointed, she didn't know that I did it until she saw me doing it. And she was just like, that is so weird. And I'm like, that it's the whole, I think, what is it, epigenetics or something like that? Like the things that are passed down generation to generation. And it's like something so simple as like tactile touching, and you gotta be rubbing on something.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I hate it if people do it to me, but like, I don't do it to people. It's just objects. Things.
Yeah. I understand that because I'm very like fabric sensitive too. And I had, oh my God, I'm not even going to get into that because I just said nice things about my mother. But she did something to me when I went away to college that my spirit is just still stuck. She threw away my covers. I had a softie called it my softie covers. It was like, it's not like a baby blanket necessarily, but it was like this blanket that I got from my grandparents, and it was just so soft, and it was like, this ugly like rainbow print or something. And we were all talking about it in college, like, oh yeah, I have a baby blanket, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get mine the next time I went home. And my mom had thrown it away. And I was just like, what? Of all of the objects to throw away, my mother is not sentimental.
She was so upset.
My mom is not sentimental at all. So if it's here and if it's a thing, it's just an object and she'll throw it away. And she's thrown other stuff of mine away that she didn't know was important that I felt was very important. I'm very sentimental. So like I had this denim bag in my closet that had like my first ever little handwritten business plan that I had to do in 5th grade. And I kept like but I kept a lot of like sentimental stuff in there. And it was just one little vessel. And it was in my closet. It was never out and about. It was just in my closet. And it just irritated her soul that I kept that thing. And she took it and threw it away one day. Mama. And I about lost my shit. Like, I think I did lose my shit that day. Like, why did you do that? It was not bothering you. I had things in there. So like my mom, she will just throw stuff away. But when you said that tactile thing, it made me think of my softie covers. And I also like for self-soothing, I rub my ankles together because I don't know what it is about that, but it just soothes me to go to sleep sometimes. So that's my other strange sort of thing.
Yeah, I do that. I don't do my ankles, but it's more so my feet in the blankets. It's so weird, but like, whatever. Because I've had men be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get comfortable. Yeah. And if I don't do it, I just lay there like a starfish looking strange, like, yeah. It's part of the process. Anyway.
So that's it.
We have brought along.
Yes. Drop down in the comments. Answer the questions in the comments. And again, we will drop the link to the article in the description box. Yes. That's it.
And maybe we'll revisit this again and just have some more little question times. I think we only got through like 4, y'all. So
we did 5. And we have 40, there's 45 on the list. So we could clearly revisit this. This could be a series. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace out.